my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusation.
Jokes with a real and in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm...
Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies?
It's Katt Williams that taught me how to be Jaguar, right? And he picked up the phone, and it was the fucking CEO of fucking Comedy Central. And I listened to him threaten to kill him. He said, I'm not doing this. And then that's when all the incidents started happening.
So Terrence Howard has been talking about Katt Williams, and he's alleging that Katt's life might actually be in danger. And this isn't just rumor or drama anymore. Terrence says both he and Katt have been targeted multiple times. Terrence also hinted that part of the reason he presents himself the way he does, often mixing outrageous statements with truth, is actually a way to stay safe while still speaking out. It's basically a strategy for survival in a world where whistleblowers get taken out every other day. But it gets even more serious. Katt Williams has made similar claims and said that as soon as he started calling out certain powerful people in the industry, threats were made against him, and they even tried to go after his children. The big question now is whether Katt is truly in danger again, given the release of the Epstein files and his recent discussions of sensitive subjects, and who exactly is trying to silence him.
The conversation was to show that there are spiritual things going on in the world, and that there are things that are bigger than just coincidence.
So Terrence Howard just put out a message for Katt Williams and everyone else who's been labeled crazy, threatened, or silenced for speaking uncomfortable truths about those in power. And Terrence is basically saying that people like Katt who see patterns and notice things others don't have a responsibility to speak up and warn others. And if that makes certain people angry, well, there's usually a reason for that.
Let me follow evidence over assumption, observation over expectation. You see, our world is full of many voices telling us what to think. But our greatest strength that we could ever develop is our ability to examine things with our own eyes, our own logic, our own God-given courage. This is not rebellion. This is responsibility. It is how science moves forward. It is how history is corrected. It is how we evolve as a species. You see, this is the path of those who seek the truth, not to destroy anything, but to understand it honestly. Because there's no growth without questioning. There's no wisdom without evidence. There's no freedom without clarity. To every seeker out there that is potentially absorbing any of this, we don't have to inherit the world as it was given to us. We have the right and the responsibility to examine it for ourselves. You see, the truth does not fear being questioned. Only fragile ideas do.
And this is exactly what Katt Williams has said too. Basically, if someone gets bothered by what he's talking about, it usually means he hit a nerve, and there's a reason it makes them uncomfortable.
That's why I can speak with impunity about the Illuminati, because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother.
But here's where it gets darker. Recently, reports have come out saying Katt's life was allegedly threatened after he started talking about things that used to be dismissed as conspiracy theories. But now with the release of the Epstein files, a lot of what he said actually seems to line up. Some sources are even pointing to Katt's interview with Joe Rogan, where he talked about what the elites supposedly worship and the alleged behind-the-scenes rituals.
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence, I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender. To show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring. Really? And it said both of those things, so I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future, and that somehow calling people the GOAT would be normalized.
Now, a lot of people were quick to dismiss Katt as a conspiracy theorist when he said these things. But fast forward to now, and a lot of what he was saying is actually showing up in the Epstein files. Some of the emails are disturbing and really hard to read, but they mention the same things Katt was talking about. One email even shows Epstein discussing with biologist Robert Trivers ideas about producing more feminine men and more masculine women. And this part isn't speculation anymore. It's documented. So this scientist, Robert Trivers, was responding to Epstein's email where Epstein asked to see his piece on transgender biology. And Trivers responded, saying it is possible to manipulate and control things on a molecular level to make women have male parts and vice versa. But it then gets really creepy. And Trivers literally admits that these procedures are being pushed earlier and earlier. This is a direct quote from the email. By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. So, you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? And how wild is it that this is exactly what people like Katt Williams and Terrence Howard have been warning about for years? But it doesn't stop there. Remember what Katt said in that Joe Rogan interview about certain rituals connected to all this, and even hinted that these elites worship a completely different kind of God? Well, the Epstein emails appear to back that up.
Did you know Jeffrey Epstein, his bank accounts,
What is
he
a
named
bank?
it Baal, like the demon.
Oh, Baal.
Like
yeah.
the demonic
like
god.
Baal, that's yeah.
That god, ancient Babylonians, they used to sacrifice kids and eat to this god, fam. And they're still referencing that.
My goodness.
And they've been rereferencing that.
Yeah, everywhere.
Kyra, God is good.
Huh?
God is good.
Bloody dog.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
And when we talk about the Epstein files, it's important to note that Katt didn't just start talking about this recently. He's been saying these things out loud long before they hit mainstream attention. Basically, Katt pointed out what most people are too afraid to say. Epstein didn't just happen to be around all these billionaires. He was put there. That kind of access doesn't happen by accident. And Epstein was elevated for a reason.
One world people exist because it's a very powerful concept to have, and far too lucrative and beneficial to not be attempted.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to run some global power organization, I would try to co-opt every single leader, try to suck them in, offer support, bring them out to wherever the fuck I have my big-ass meetings, fly everybody in private jets, talk about the climate crisis.
All organizations have to follow the same rules.
Yeah, that's wild.
Recruitment is an important facet of all. Like,
we have to get some young global leaders.
Well, understand, this is the only reason that we can talk about these big Illuminati-like entities at this period of time. It's just because of time. Like, they aged out. Like, you can't get in new, so everybody got decrepit over there, and they can't exchange really through this period of history. And so that's how we ended up with the Bob Lazars and everything. Throughout history, you could really, it was much easier to get people to not tell nobody.
Right.
As part of your job. You know what I mean?
Imagine going to a World Economic Forum party. What did those freaks do when all the listening devices have been scanned out of the room? All their phones been put into bags and locked away in a lead vault? What do those freaks do? Because you know it's not normal shit. You know everybody's buttoned down like that and wants to control the world. There's something involved that's outlandish that they keep a secret. That's always been the case with secret societies. I mean, that's the whole eyes wide shut thing. That there's some freak shit going on behind the scenes to anybody that really wants to control everything. You don't just want to control everything. You want to control everything so you can get away with some freak shit too.
Right, I'm saying, but these Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history. Whether they were kings or what, like, like human beings are human beings universally. So everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists like.
So here's the big question. If Katt is talking about things the mainstream media won't touch, like Epstein's apparent connection to trans research, or the alleged worship of ancient gods, is he actually safe? We know attempts have been made to silence him before, but now he's going into really dark territory that these elites don't want anyone knowing too much about. Remember, Katt previously said he stopped talking about the Illuminati for a while because he got stung one too many times, and at the time, he didn't even fully realize the kind of danger he was dealing with.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. But now, it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not gonna join, but I respect it a little more.
But back then, nobody really took Katt seriously. People just brushed him off and said he was blaming everything on the Illuminati. But as the years went on, the situations around him got too strange to ignore. There were so many random arrests and attempts to lock him up or even get him institutionalized. So eventually fans started thinking maybe Katt wasn't exaggerating at all. Even after Katt blew up in his career, the weird incidents didn't stop. One of the earliest was back in 2009 in a Walmart parking lot in Georgia when cops took his guns but didn't charge him with anything. That's the kind of stuff that makes you start questioning what's really going on behind the scenes. Katt later talked about the incident to Vive magazine and said, "This is a witch hunt. This is a witch hunt. It's getting to the point where I feel like I'm being persecuted because this doesn't make any sense." But the incident that really shook him happened in December 2012, when Katt was accused of putting his kids in danger after cops found him in his house. Once again, the charges were quickly dropped because there was no evidence. But Katt has said the whole thing felt like just another setup aimed at taking him down.
Yeah, I'm saying if the police come in and raid my place and break into my gun boxes, you're gonna find guns. But these aren't. Well, I'm not in a gang. What difference does it make?
Now, you were actually stopped for this and let go because you have a license for it,
No,
right?
this is their 9th time coming to my house. The problem was this time they came to my office and took my kids from an office. Not from my house, from an office. So now when I can't have my kids at my office,
That's an issue.
I must be
the
most terrible black dude. Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies? Yikes. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X ended up dead for telling the truth. So as a comedian, I don't think it won't happen to me. I think they've thrown me in jail 36 times in 36 months, and I think you've never seen me in a court of law. That means they're effing with me. And today, they crossed the line. Because now they took my babies.
Then in 2014, Katt and Suge Knight got arrested together over an alleged incident with a paparazzi's camera. The media immediately twisted the story, making it look like they just snapped at Suge, some random photographer. But Katt later explained the situation was way deeper than that. The paparazzi were actually trying to provoke them, and one of them even went after Suge's son.
This is in Beverly Hills. Suge has brought his son with him who's 5 years old. Suge's son runs behind the dumpster and urinates. And a lady films his penis out and then says, "Oh, I thought that was Katt's kid." But that lady said that she got jumped on by me. Like, this isn't just my word. They had to play the video in court, which showed that her altercation wasn't with a man at all.
Yeah, they don't add that piece.
No, nor do they make a retraction.
Right.
Nor do they say, "Hey, that thing we told you about that guy, turns out it was nothing." I got 15 cases that were dismissed. that should be talked about. Why would 15 cases be dismissed?
And while Katt was dealing with all those arrests and false accusations, the tabloids were busy painting him as an out-of-control addict. But here's the crazy part. Even with all these industry gatekeepers trying to take him down, Katt somehow managed to dodge every trap. Over the years, none of his arrests ever led to a felony conviction, and he's never actually served any prison time. However, now that Katt has started talking about some really serious topics, insiders are saying he could actually be in danger. There are a lot of powerful people who wouldn't want him speaking out, especially now that he's drawing attention to parts of the Epstein files that mainstream media is ignoring. So let's just hope Katt and Terrence stay safe and protected, because at this point, you really can't put anything past these elites. And now, I want to hear from you. Katt predicted a lot of the things that are showing up in the Epstein files. So, do you think he could really be in danger now that the conversation has shifted to much darker topics? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out the next video.